Hey folks, it's Jim. A few people have asked me how I do what I do with such little food and why my pack has such little food in it with regards to bug out. Now I have a total of 7 bug out bags at my house. Some of you have seen my earlier bug out video. That's for those who are not conditioned or trained or used to being out in the wild or wilderness. For those people, I have 6 bug out bags for novices, if you will. And then I have mine, the 7th bug out bag, which is different. It's loaded with survival gear, a lot more survival gear, a lot higher quality stuff, and far less foods because because of the way I live my life. My requirements are different food-wise, so far less of my pack is food, far more of it is gear, okay? And that's the way I like it. So let's get into this. How do I do it? And why do I do what I do? Well, let's get into it. Here today we're showing Wise's 16 total servings of emergency preparedness food, right? Hopefully you can see that. It's 230 to 260 calories per serving. There are 16 servings in there. So this will last me easily 5 days in the field, but more like 10 because I only eat 1 or 2 of these a day, okay, if that. And how do I do that? Well, there's another product that I carry with me in my bug out bags. This is 20 days of amino acids protein right here, okay? This is some really pure stuff and it's very expensive, folks, but here's the beauty of it when you're talking long-term survival foods. It's very condensed, lightweight, easy to store, no expiration date. Store this at a modest living temperature and you've got your amino acids here, okay? So that's one thing that I do, okay? I'm doing food inventory because it's raining outside today. We have a real bad day, so I'm doing food inventory, and I got some more long-term food in, so that's why I'm doing this video. But you see it comes in a 6-pack. This sits on a shelf, and when the time comes, each of those 6 bug out bags for guests will get one of these in it. Mine already has 2 of these bottles in it, okay? And then also, one of the things that I pack added to this is a bottle of 1-a-day multivitamins, depending on which one you need or want. We are all genetically different or physiologically different, so our requirements are different. So whatever you want to apply to this for your daily 1-a-day, keep it and put it in there. But you can see how lightweight that is, and that is, okay, you got about 2.5 pounds carrying with you. The next thing is the Peterson's Field Guide, okay? This is for edible wild plants. This is for Eastern and Central North America. If you live in California, this book won't do. You need another one, right? Or there are many out there like it. I just like Peterson's Field Guides. They've been around for a long time and they're actually pretty good. I like them. So, but study and know your indigenous plant life for your area. This one, what I recommend people do is find 10 indigenous plant forms, funguses, barks, pine needles, various other things, berries, so on and so forth, that seasonally you can acquire, and you master those 10 for each season, which comes out to, one would seem, a total of 40, but many of these things will overlap through seasons, are available in multiple seasons, so it actually cuts it way down on the number of plant forms that you have to master for a good bug out plan, okay? So that's how I do it also, and that's where it goes to when I say survival tea. What am I talking about? This is what I'm talking about, okay? Now, I'm not running around picking this stuff out and off my beaten path and exhausting energy to do this. No. Just like we gather tinder along our trek when we're going out backpacking and stuff like that, or camping. Sorry about that. We're going to gather our survival tea the same way. It's going to be along our pathways. We won't have to leave our path or leave it very little, so we're not going to exhaust much more energy to gather our tea for the night. Just like you carry a tinder bag, carry a tea bag, and that's what I do, okay? So my plant foods, my living organism food intake, which we need, phytonutrients are in living things, not processed things, okay? So I need that every day. Now I need to know how to acquire it. And if I'm studying my own region, I should have 10 things that I can acquire in any season and nourish myself along the way. I'm going to be lighter. I'm going to be faster. I'm going to be stronger. And because of that, I'm going to have more endurance, and I'm going to be less prone to mechanical breakdown within my structures of my body, right? So knees, ankles, hips, back, neck, so on and so forth. Right? So I don't want to be carrying a lot of food. I want to be carrying more knowledge, and I want to carry powerful amino acids, and I want to carry a daily multivitamin as well. And I'm not going to worry so much about food. I'm going to get food along the way. One of my favorite characters in The Walking Dead is Daryl. What does he do? He constantly has a squirrel, a rabbit, or something, right? Well, think of that. As we're trekking along, and remember, we're going 2 to 3 miles an hour. We're operating only about 30%. An athlete that's doing a triathlon, marathon, or working hard during the day is operating at about 60 to 90%. We're only operating at about 30% to walk, okay? That's all we're asking our body to do is walk. Man has been walking for thousands of years from town to town, from village to village, from country to country. Before modern transportation was available, man has been trekking with very little food on his or her person to make those long trips. How? Because within each one of us, especially in America today, is 10 to 15 pounds of food called fat. If we're properly nourishing our body to begin with, right? This is a vitamin amino acid mineral supplement that I take every 2 to 3 days with blueberries, strawberries, and orange juice to keep my body in optimal condition. It gives me aminos and everything too. Every 2 to 3 days I'll make a smoothie out of that. I don't believe in doing it every day because then your body becomes dependent on this stuff. That's not, I don't want it to be dependent on anything, but it is good for optimal health because of the way we live today with the way we get foods in grocery stores and things of that nature, okay? So I like my body optimally nourished about every 2 to 3 days. And remember, we're going to carry a multivitamin anyway. So with all that in mind, think about it. Garbage in, garbage out. If you're on a diet of processed foods and garbage and Twinkies and Ho-Hos and potato chips and everything else, yes, you're going to be hungry and your body's going to break down no matter what you do out there. But if you get on a good, healthy lifestyle, which is better for you in the long run anyway, which is why I say being prepared is a lifestyle, and it's a healthier, happier, vibrant lifestyle, you're already ahead of the game because you're properly nourished. And if you're properly nourished, you have good fat cells that when reabsorbed have good nourishment within them as well. If you put garbage into your body, what's coming out of your fat cells is once again garbage, because that's all it had to store was garbage. Okay, so think about it. A lot of people are in a death spiral with regards to nutrition right now. And wouldn't it be nice if you could change your lifestyle right now, just thinking about being prepared, of how much healthier you would be, okay? So again, we collect this like we would tinder on our walk, or our hike, or our bug out, or whatever. So we're not really exhausting any energy to acquire this food, are we? This nutrition, this hydration, because we're making survival tea out of it as well, right? Some of the stuff you can actually chew on the trail and get more nourishment while you're moving, right? And it's not fattening, and it's not going to weigh you down. It's nature, okay? But a lot of this we can pack in our tea, and when we get to set up camp at night, we can rehydrate and fully nourish ourselves before we move out the next day. And again, we're taking one of these every 4 hours on the move, aren't we? Okay, and then we have our multivitamin, which we'll start every day with, right? Or we'll close the night out with. But the main thing we don't want is have to be getting up in the morning and taking our bowel movements along this trek constantly or during the day. We want to move freely. When I get up in the morning, my bowel movements are made within the first 30 minutes and I'm done. I'm ready to move out and go all day without having to worry about stopping. Now, if you haven't programmed your body to be that way, well, it might be a good idea to do so. It's going to make your working lifestyle much healthier too if you're not having to stop throughout your workday and take bowel movements, okay? Your body should intake and it should evacuate. And it shouldn't be complicated, and your body should be on a cycle, at least as far as I understand and what works well for me. I don't want to be out during my day and have to pull over and take a number 2 somewhere. I want to know what my body does, how it responds, and when it's going to do things. It needs to be programmed. okay? And that means healthy foods in, healthy out, right? Garbage in, garbage out. It's the same way with all of life, isn't it? There is no difference, all right? And we're up to about 10 minutes of this video, okay? So let's go back over things. We have 2 pounds of food. We have another half a pound in amino acids and vitamin supplements. We have already mastered our region for food, but you can carry this if you want. I wouldn't. I'd carry my small notepad and know what I need. And that's it. And that's how I do it. Many people ask me, well, why? Because I want to be lighter, more alert, and faster. There are hormones that are released when one starts to feel hunger. Much like an animal, a carnivore in nature. When it starts to feel hunger, it becomes heightened on alert. It becomes fast, strong, and it gets the killer instinct, doesn't it? You as humans, we as humans, have the same capabilities. It's just most of us have forgotten it. We are designed the same way. We are a part of creation, and therefore we have hormones that get our body in optimal mode, if you will, optimum mode to do things. Learning how to get your body to get in that optimal mode will make you a healthier, happier, more vibrant person in the long run. It will give you a very good, healthy lifestyle. Learning how to do all this stuff, but mainly it goes to getting back to whole foods, eating plant life that's indigenous to the region that we're in. Right now, that's for a lot of us. Some of you are unhealthy, and some of you have different requirement needs, and many of you are have major health issues. Okay, so this isn't for everybody. This is for those who are healthy and active and living a good lifestyle. But what I've understood, people who are getting back to whole foods, pure foods, real foods, live foods, away from processed foods, sugars, and all the other crap in our daily environment, many of these type 2 diabetics are getting off their medications. Okay, and then you can look the studies up for yourself. So what does that tell you? A poor diet leads to poor health, period. Garbage in, garbage out, end of story. So learning how to eat and nourish ourselves properly is just a part of a good, healthy lifestyle, let alone needing it for an emergency. So that's why I say good prepping is not stressful, it is harmonious with our own nature. In other words, it is what's best for us to have our bodies prepared in an optimal performance mode before an emergency happens. To have our bodies nourished optimally on a daily, regular, continuing, ongoing basis is just good for you. And getting away from the junk the best that we can, getting away from the toxic food environment that production foods have provided for us is most important. And many of you need to get out every day. If you can't walk 3 to 5 miles, you are extremely unhealthy, period, end of subject. You know that. I don't have to tell you that. So if you're not out challenging yourself 3 to 5 miles on a regular, continuing, ongoing basis, obviously with the advisement of your doctor, don't just run out there and try and do things without your doctor letting you know if you're unhealthy now, you need to slowly build yourself up to this. But the average person should be able to walk 3 to 5 miles without even a second thought. And if we can't, we've got major problems in our life today, right now. Forget about when an emergency comes. So that's why I wanted to do this video. People ask me how I do what I do. This is how I do what I do. It's my life. It's just common sense. If you can't walk 3 to 5 miles right now, you have serious problems beyond being a prepper, folks. Fix it. You can do it. It just takes a little bit of want to. That's it. And you'll feel healthier and happier and more vibrant. And just your overall aura will just be so good. So much better than it is now. You ever met somebody who's in an aura of darkness? Look at their diet. Look at their lifestyle. See how much they exercise. Do they provide positive energy to others that are around them? What kind of person is this person that's surrounded by darkness? Usually it's a multitude of things that have gotten them into the dark box, and it's a multitude of changes that are going to be required to get them out, isn't it? Many of us have already experienced this and have come out of it. So nothing I'm trying to show or share here today is anything more than living a healthy lifestyle and incorporating that into our preparedness lifestyle. It should all be one thing. It shouldn't be separate. It should be one thing. Being prepared should make you a healthier, happier person. Jim out.